Okay, I'm Bobby Quick. My wife's Beverly Quick, and we're from Hamlet, North Carolina. And back in 1989, we saw a little ad in the paper that said that we were going to be real lucky to get this wonderful facility, and they might hire a bunch of people. And it's called a low-level radioactive waste, and we were real fortunate that the Blue Ridge Environmental Defense League found out about it, and I don't remember exactly how they got up with us, but they educated us and they educated the public about the harms of nuclear waste. We also had another waste facility at the same time that they helped fight away. It was up at the other end of the county, so they had two victories. But we started back in '89 after we saw that ad. We got involved. We didn't think it would be a good thing for us. So we went to a meeting, and we found out that several counties were involved. They were thinking about maybe putting it in Rowan County and Union, and the possibility of Richmond County, and then Wake Chatham. It was among all of us, and then they put this wonderful big ad in the paper that said, "Who will be the winner?" You know, like they were going to pit us against each other and it'll get us fighting for it. But we didn't really think it would be a wonderful thing for us. It'd be a blight on the county. We live in the sand, and if anything leaches into the water, it gets into the wells. And on the site that they were planning to put it, there was over 206 wells. Right away we realized that it wasn't good, and Lou and Janet Hall came down. This is back in the days when it didn't have much money. You realize it's 25 years ago. And they would come down in a pickup truck anytime we asked them. They got us involved with people that knew a lot more about nuclear waste. And we found out that the low level is a misnomer, that they were actually planning to put spent fuel rods in the facility. They call it a facility, we call it a dump. And we formed an organization called FORCE, which is For Richmond County's Environment. And we spent most of our money that we raised for literature. It didn't take us long to figure out that it wasn't about the technology. To give you an example, they have what they call an EPLI report that they got together. And it's a real thick document. And on the edges of it, as they did a little windshield view of the areas where they were planning to put the dump, they wrote, "Oh, not many affluent people here, so we can do it here." That's what they were more interested in than they were. I realized they would put it in a swamp if you let them. You know, they just wanted to get it sited. And so anyway, that spurred us on. So we fought it every day. I complained because the teachers weren't going to get a raise. They just announced that the school teachers couldn't afford to give them a raise, but yet they were giving away money to this company. This is a for-profit company, Chem Nuclear Incorporated, part of Waste Management, wealthy company, and here they're giving them a Winnebago. So I fussed about it, so they told me it's time for me to get out, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna get on out before you throw me out this time." When I walked out in the hall, one of the representatives from Chem Nuclear walked up to me and said, well what? And I told her the same thing again, and she said, "Well, what would you do if I got you $1 million for your house? Keep in mind, you know my house is not worth $1 million, and it's worth more now than it was then, but it wasn't worth anywhere near $1 million. They said, "Myrtle Beach would be a good place for you to move." And I said, "I'd give it to Attorney Runkle over there and let him litigate till it's all gone." And they said, "Well, we can't give it to you for that." Well, that worried me because I knew that was their attempt to buy me off or to discredit me, one or the other. I didn't know which, but anyway. I told them that would be letting down the county if I did that and my friends, and I just wasn't going to do it.
My name is Beverly Quick, and I'm Bobby's wife. And I was right there for those 5 years of fighting to keep the low-level radioactive waste dump out of Richmond County. And it was a long 5 years, definitely worth it. Started out, as Bobby said, with the petition, and we did that because we weren't sure how our people in the county felt about the dump. So when we were able to get the 27,000 plus names, that showed us for sure that there were people that definitely were against the dump. So that's the reason we started out with the petition. We even had a fella, Bob Beerbaum, who was a teacher down in Scotland County, and he decided he was going to make a statement. and walk all the way to Washington and try to meet with the president and let him know about what our fight was like down here. And he did. He made the walk, and we got some publicity from that. And looking back, it was definitely well worth it, because we have been free of this dump for at least 25 years. Hopefully they will never site it anywhere.
You've got to fight whatever the facility is in every way that you can fight it. You go to every meeting that you can go to, and it's not going to be easy. And don't tell somebody. I've had people come up to me and say, I've been fighting such and such a thing. I said, well, what have you done? Well, I went to a city council meeting. I said, you went to a meeting? I said, you've got to be in their face all the time.
You know, we would just get together and have a phone tree if the press was coming. And in just a few minutes, people would come up out of the woods, practically, and out of the swamps to protest on the site. And that really helped our cause, because that made Kim Euclid nervous. We, you know, we would do things like, while they were out surveying the land, we would have somebody ride by on a bicycle. And things like that just freaked them out, because they knew they were doing wrong. Even though we weren't up to any mischief, it was enough to be disconcerting to some of the folks that did that. And we do know that at least one of the girls that was doing the surveying called her dad to come pick her up and quit the job because of our protesting. So, you know, people say you can't make a difference. Let me tell you, you can. You can make a difference. Don't ever think that you can't. One person can get a lot of people involved, and that's exactly what Force did. Because we were just a fledgling little group when we started, but by the time it was over with, everybody knew who Force was.